Bitcoin is getting a very big drop to the downside, and this video is aiming to bring you some calmness to this drop, so you're not going to be shorting out of fear or taking any silly trades. I'm just going to be going through some really nice high probability levels where we can be looking for really good reactions, offering some very nice trade setups. That's what you come to love with this channel, I hope. That I am just a non-bias. I don't have a super bullish bias, neither a super bearish bias. I will just analyze the charts and find good high probability trade setups. I'm open to long, I'm open to shorts. The only thing that matters to me is making profits and winning those trades. So if that sounds good to you, that's what we'll be going through in this video. So what we're looking at next, of course, today is Sunday, but we'll be looking for the week ahead. And I want to start off the video by picking right up where I left my last video, so that continuation. And in the last video, many of you actually could be in the very same short trade as me that I'm still in right now, still in this same short trade. And this was a short trade that was really nice because during this video, I actually took the short live on the video. So you had a really nice overview of the trade and the insights live in the time, like what is my thought process upon entering the trade. And then if you watched it, I of course compounded that trade with leverage. And that actually was the very high of the retest, by the way. And we used the pointer control of the candle. We were looking at the trade counts within the order flow to recognize it was a move to the upside with lots of smaller traders involved, which, you know, gave me confidence in wanting to take the short on the retest when I see this. Then on top of that, we were looking at the open interest, the delta. We were looking at the liquidation candles. So you can just see a really nice view of how I'm analyzing the order flow to make that informed decision to compound heavily the short trade. And that was the absolute high of the move before a big move to the downside. But of course, the video prior to this one, we had been talking about a big crash that could be coming on Bitcoin. So we've been ready and waiting for that. And then we got the trade live on stream. This was on Thursday, and now today on Sunday, some days later, invalidation's never been hit, as we have now seen a very big move to the downside. So I want to talk you through this a little bit, and then we'll be focusing on what we're looking at next. So there's not too much really for me to cover off of this, because a lot of it was, of course, talked you through during that video, which if you haven't watched, or even if you have, I do believe, honestly, that this is a very good use of your time to re-watch that video, especially from like minute 15 onwards, because then you can actually see that live thought process of the compounding of the reading of order flow. And I just feel it's a very nice, you know, opportunity to see that. So you can take advantage of that if you want, but otherwise, yeah, we'll you know, focus more on what's happening next. Okay. Of course, that short, you know, I doubled down on the leverage and we got a very nice pullback to the downside. And what I want to talk about during this is the, you know, some of the, you know, the psychology, I suppose, of having that level of patience and understanding, you know, I can be wrong on the trade, but I will still trade with, you know, the probabilities. And at the end of the day, when we had that short trade entry, I was recognizing maybe I've been a little bit too aggressive. Like I was saying, this is inside of the members Discord. Of course, this was the last post where I was saying, wait for the range value area high to be lost and then take the short. As you know, I took the trade a little bit more aggressively in the end, and I took the short as soon as we came into the channel. So I took that aggressive short trade on Bitcoin, and this is inside of the champion members Discord section. But at the end of the day, I took the aggressive short trade here, and we had that retest, and then we ended up going sideways actually for several hours. And I'm telling my team, you know, I recognize that if I lose this trade, it was because I was a little bit too aggressive, you know, on my entry. But we all know what happened next. This high was never lost, and we actually saw a big crash to the downside. Right now, trading at $98,000. So I do feel that was, you know, in the end, a very good decision. But what you can learn from this is, you know, I'm not having like this 100%, you know, this is definitely going to win type of attitude. I understand it's a game of probabilities. I trade what I feel is the highest probability based off of the order flow. You know, just to educate you here, I had an overview of my short trade that would be on a loss of the value area high. I then get a little bit more aggressive, seeing the drop, and maybe being on live stream affected this a little bit, but, you know, nevertheless, I executed just on a ×1 trade. So it's nothing crazy, right? A bit of a hedge. But then I start to analyze the order flow a little bit more, and I take that informed decision to compound. But still, I'm understanding that this compounded is increasing my risk. I would have took a bigger loss if my stop loss had been hit. But with that understanding of the order flow, I felt that I had a very good opportunity here for the compound with leverage, to make bigger profits on the drop. But of course, at that same time, I'm not going crazy. Okay, I'm not going times 100 or anything like this. I'm keeping within risk management at the end of the day, and I'm understanding that I can absolutely lose this trade. And if I am wrong, I know what went wrong. Of course, in the end, it went very well. We did get a large drop to the downside before going sideways for a little bit. If you wonder what that retest was here, this was simply a retest of that value area high. So when you actually pull this value area along here, you come up for a value area high retest. So, in the end, remember the plan originally was to short if we lost the value area high. That was on Thursday. You actually had then a retest of that Friday, 24 hours later. So if you missed the original short trade here, well, you had that one last opportunity from, once again, a retest of the value area high, which was in fact the original plan, right? Short trade, no short for me, unless we get back into that range, value area high. So I went for the very aggressive option of taking that short very early on, but you could have waited another 24 hours for that retest to occur. At that point, you have the same entry and stop loss. Or of course, you could have hit take profit one and compounded it once again before that ultimate big move to the downside. But if you wonder what was going on here, again, if you have no understanding of anything with value areas, you might think, well, this is a bit of a random level to retest. But then you realize it was a retest of the value area high. And on top of that, you took a little bit of liquidity for people that have very small stop losses right above these series of highs. But the overall high untouched, and that's a value area high retest. And then simply for me, after seeing this, I make the decision, I'm just going to relax in my short trades. I did taking the weekend off, but here I am on a Sunday, I'm going to be trading again. So here it is what it is. But yeah, I decided to think, well, I'm going to be making the funding rates. So remember, when you're in a short trade on Bitcoin, you get paid funding. So I was like, I'm just going to relax in the short trades, taking in that funding from being in a short. And that was then on the 31st. So 31st was Friday night, telling my team I'm just going to stay in that short trade. And here we see this morning, relaxed for any type of big drop, still getting the funding, and everything's good. And we actually did continue to get a big drop. That was a few hours ago. From there, we've seen it nearly another $2,000 off as we're hitting $98,000 now. So that was a nice little walkthrough of the whole trade and of how it's progressing, still in it, of course. And now I'll move on to what we're looking at next. So I feel that what we can see now is a very clear local market structure change dedicated by that high, the low that was put in here, and then the lower high. From here, we have got a clear market structure change with our lower low. High, low, lower high, confirmed as we break down here to make a lower low. And then look at this. Very simple stuff, right? I want to keep my analysis easy to understand for you, but also for me, I don't need to make things complicated. Look at this. We have then simply gone lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So why would I not at this point think we're going to go maybe into another lower high, into another lower low, into another lower high, into another lower low, and where we come down to start to hit into bigger levels, okay, around the weekly naked point of control. Well, at this moment in time, I would not think anything else, right? I would say that there's a very high probability that we come down and hit lower levels, because look at the market structure. So this is what I mean. I have no guarantees that we come down lower. We could bounce where we are right now, right? There is no guarantees in trading. So what would be a sign of what I would say right now is a unlikely probability that we bounce here? But what would start to change the signs? Well, just as when we changed market structure here to confirm very big weakness, well, we would say at the very least we want to see that high taken out, then put in a higher low, and then make that higher high. Then we would have formed maybe some form of head and shoulders, some sort of bottoming pattern, change of market structure, and then we have the greater probability of a nice rise to the upside. But until we see at the very least that change of market structure and a bottoming pattern, I would say there is a higher probability that we are going lower. Thus, like I'm doing with this trade that I'm in, I'm just going to relax in the short trade, take in the funding rates, and expect what I feel is the highest probability of lower until the market shows me a sign. Until the market shows me a sign that it is once again bullish, I do not need to try and outguess the market at this point, right? It's a very nice position to be in where we can just take it slow, easy. As I say many times, wait for the market to show its hand. We do not need to be here trying to long 98,500. We can remain patient for a bigger level of support below us to be hit, which is the preferred scenario, of course. It is preferred that we come down lower. And at that point, we can just continue to trail stop losses. Of course, it's much preferred that we go lower on the chart. But again, the market can switch like this. And our early signs would be changing of market structure, forming a bottoming pattern, and then reclaiming some resistances as support, such as the downtrend anchored VWAP, a level that I'm very, very, very fond of. Two levels that you would have, that retest high and the overall high. I think they're both very well respected levels. So there's like, you can see I'm going on this with like stages, and each stage, let's say, increases probabilities. So right now, the highest probability is a further drop to the downside. And we could say, 90% probability we get continuation here to the downside. We reclaim market structure. Let's say then that probability to the downside goes from 90% to only 40%, because that's the first major sign of strength. And then let's say we reclaim that downtrend anchored VWAP, and then let's say then the probability of downside only is 20%. Thus, the highest probability is a bigger move to the upside. So then we start to have to think to ourselves, okay, are we going to lock in some bigger take profits now? So for example, if we start to see that big strength shown, I would not fully close my short because I never like to do that. But at that point, I might be locking in like 50, 60% of the take profit. So far, I've only taken 10%, relatively pretty small percentage take profit. And I would close more of that on the strength. Why? Because I prefer to close my shorts on strength than closing my shorts on weakness, right? Imagine this, if I had at this point here took 80% take profit, well, yeah, I'd still be winning the trade, but I would have such a small position. I would actually be losing money, if you think about it, off of spot holdings, for people that have spot holdings anyway, because I, of course, have sold all my spot. But nevertheless, from what I understand, the majority of people, how it's going to work. So it just doesn't make any sense to be taking high percentage of take profits on shorts when there's weakness, right? So let's say you come down here. Let's say you're in the same position as me right now. You're in 90% of the short still running, which is a really good amount. Especially remember that I'm leveraged short anyway, so something to bear in mind, I think. But nevertheless, you take 10% of an already leveraged position. You've still got a lot of your trade running. But then let's say we come down to here and I lock in 80% of the trade. I'm left in a very small position at that point, right? So yeah, perfect world, it bounces, you closed your majority at the low, perfect, right? But then what happens if you close 80% and it does this? Well, now you're really kind of going to be worrying, because you see your spot going down, you see your short making a bit of money, but nothing in comparison to the losses that you're taking on your spot holdings. You're going to be really thinking, I need to get in a short. You're going to be shorting the lows. You're going to be worried. You're going to be fearful. And the only way that you can avoid these emotions of fear, of sadness, of I wish I didn't do that, I wish I didn't do this, is by trading the highest probabilities when they're given to you, right? If I had missed this short, if I had said to myself, I'm a bit too scared to take this trade, or yeah, no, I'm going to wait a little bit more, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do... There's 101 reasons why you want to talk yourself out of doing something when there's a risk. I know it because I went through it. I didn't turn into a perfect, amazing trader straight away, right? It took years. I've been doing this over a decade. I can tell you, I had the sleepless nights. I had that sick feeling. I had that regret. I had the, oh my God, I'm so dumb. Oh my God, I was so stupid. Why would I do this? Repeating mistakes, just being, the sick feeling in your stomach when you just feel, I made such a big mistake. I am so stupid. And so having lived through all that, I know now I want to not have those emotions. And I would always, prefer to lose a trade because I have my risk management, than miss a trade, and especially a short trade. I would hate to miss short trades because during that whole move to the downside, you're just losing money. You're even more emotional of needing to get into shorts, taking bad trades. You short the low and then it pumps a little bit. Again, that pump could just be, let's just say this as an example, right? Let's say, you're out of fear, you shorted here this morning. And then it starts to get a bit of a rise to the upside here. And then you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, I shorted the low, now I'm underwater. And then you end up closing the short here because you're thinking, oh God, I just shorted the low. And then you close, and then it drops again. It's all just so emotionally driven, this market. And that is why I will tell you this. I really believe that or not even believe that I have the results to prove that I'm a good trader because I understand this market psychology so well. And it's because I lived it. And then I do think, I understand it very well. And that is positive for you watching this, because if a normal guy, I have no special skills. I was born with nothing special, right? I'm just a totally normal guy. So if I can learn this, then you can too. And I think that's really, really positive. Even if you're feeling really sad, you missed the trade, you've done something bad, you have that really bad feeling, just take happiness in knowing that you can turn yourself around. You can transform your trading. Truly, you can transform it totally from being the worst trader in the world to being successful by just simply listening along to the videos, understanding the content, educating yourself fully. There is no reason why you cannot be at my level or succeed me and be even better. And that would be wonderful, right? I'm not here for any other reason than to be a mentor, to be a teacher, and to help people the best way I can, which is simply, talking trading, teaching trading. This is I feel this is my God-given calling to be here and teaching people to trade. It is the gift that the Lord give to me, and for me is an absolute blessing to be in this position where I can help so many people. So yeah, that really is my thought process on the market right now. Why I am remaining patient for the market to show its hand. So I said at the start of this video, I'll explain what I'm looking for next, and what I'm looking for next is more data. I do not need to be taking a trade here because I do not believe it's a high probability that the low is in. I do believe we're going to go down lower. And until we change market structure with simply lower highs and lower lows, well, I will keep looking for lower and lower. If we come down, again, I do not know whether we'd bottom out here or here, right? But I will wait till we test one of these levels, and then I'll make an informed decision. Just as I made that informed decision to take the short trade, I will monitor the order flow, and I'll make an informed decision to take a long trade at one of those levels. I will make an informed decision when to take major profits on my shorts, which would be on a sign of strength. Okay, so I hope that you've understood this. I hope you can understand, like, when we got the entries, when we got the retests of the highs, what we're looking for when we come down to levels. It's all about the order flow. To hint, it's all about the order flow. And then it's a simple case of managing the trades, remaining relaxed. And how do you remain relaxed? Well, it's by taking those big trades when you got to, when the highest probabilities are there and the order flow lines up. So yeah, a little bit of a different video today, but I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, I will love all comments, feedback, anything down below. I read every single comment always. That's good because I love to read and interact with you all in the comment section. But also, if you can at the very least give a like to the video, that will help the algorithm, we hope. We are fighting the algorithm, I will tell you that. If this was a Moonboy channel that just says bye, 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 I think we'd be on 1 million subscribers by now because our content is the best. But, we are actually fighting the algorithm in the sense of, this content here is truly life-changing. And this is not what the algorithm wants people watching, right? They just want people to be zombies on the 9-to-5 path. This channel here can truly transform and give you financial freedom. So it's very difficult for it to grow. Even though when you look at the content up against other channels, like, it's clear this is the content. We have people that have learned from us, took all of our learnings, and even people that copy our stuff in silence and will never give us credit. Outperforming millions of subscribers. I would say it doesn't make sense. But hey, I'm just happy knowing I can help the people that are here now. But if you can give it a like and we can help more people, I do feel that's only positive. But whether we have 1 million subscribers or whether we just have one person, I will still be here. At the end of the day, it's what I love, it's what I enjoy, but I do again feel that it's my calling. So yeah, whether it's 1 or 1 million, I love you watching this video. I hope that it's been helpful. I hope I can inspire you and most importantly, educate you of how to read and trade these markets. Maybe we'll cover Trump coin in the next video. If you'd like that, let me know down below, because that Trump short has been pretty epic when I took that at $69 for the memes. But nevertheless, hope you've enjoyed this one. Thank you ever so much. And yeah, that's me signing out. Cheers, everybody. Thank you and goodbye.